Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Football Manager 21 with Newcastle United. In the first episode, of course, it was a bloody short one, so it was just getting into the game, getting all the admin done and all that carry on. But this one is going to be full of, if you're a fan of stuff, then by golly you'll love this one because stuff aplenty is going to occur. So what is this stuff of which you speak? Well, there's been plenty of transfer activity, movement, so much bloody movement you'd think you were on the dance floor during the Greece Mega Mix at a family wedding at 3 o'clock in the morning. Quite a lot of movement, a number of transfers have been made, and of course we'll be playing our first Premier League game of the season tomorrow, if I could hit the right button, there we go. It will be against Aston Villa, then we have the Carabao Cup against Middlesbrough, and finally we'll end with our second Premier League game against Tottenham. Before we dive into the transfers, here is how our pre-season has gone relatively decently. That loss against Banik Ostrava was a bit worrying, and the draw against Aalborg going into the first game against Villa. But that's how pre-season has gone. How has the transfer window gone, more importantly? So here we are. Here are the signings that we have made from, one, two, three. We've made 4 signings on top of the ones that were already made before we arrived. The likes of Callum Wilson, Jeff Hendrick, Ryan Fraser, all that carry on. These are the ones that we have made. We have, we'll tell you what, we'll look at outgoings first because then that will make way for our incomings. We had, of course, a £16 million transfer budget when we arrived. We immediately started looking at the dead we could get rid of. We got rid of Jacob Murphy to Nottingham Forest for £2.1 million. Henri Saivet went out for £1.1 million. DeAndre Yedlin we released for £6 million to Burnley. Sent Rodrigo Vilca out on loan to Middlesbrough. Christian Atsu went for 3.5. Akraf Lazar went for 100,000. Federico Fernandez for £3 million. Now, to be honest, I was umming and ahhing about whether or not to send Federico Fernandez out. But we, with the signing that we made in the window, I felt confident enough to do it. Plus, he's 31 years old. Got rid of him. And a youngster, Kyle Scott. He's away to Zaragoza for £20,000. DeAndre Yedlin, nah, to be honest, wasn't overly. I was, again, another one I was humming and hawing about, as he's been such a good servant. And I really like DeAndre Yedlin. Plus, right back is a position that we kind of, we really couldn't really have afforded to lose people from. But we needed the cash, really, to facilitate other deals that we were going to make, and here are those deals. We start with Bakary Jatta, of course, signed from Hamburg for 1.6 million to come in. He's incredibly versatile, which is why we brought him in. He's only 22 years old and his value's already gone up to 5.25 million, which is pretty good. He'll be used in a kind of rotational sort of mode as we look to just bolster our attacking options. So Bakary Jatta's in for, to be honest, an absolute snip, I think, at £1.6 million. This is why we let Fernandez go. We got Wesley Fofana in on loan from Leicester City. Highly, highly rated young lad, 19 years old. We are paying a hefty chunk of his wages, though, 55k a week, which is not ideal, but I feel like he's someone who we can help develop and who will be a great asset to us, more so than Federico Fernandez. And this is our big money signing, Suat Serdar out of Schalke for £24 million. Good lord, I really wanted a world-class defensive midfielder, and Suat Serdar is that very boy. He can play at central midfield as well, which is probably where he's more comfortable, but I will be playing him as a defensive midfielder, which is where we needed him, to be honest. £24 million, he's going to play ahead of Isaac Hayden probably in that role. Or he can move, of course, like I say, into the central midfield role. But Suat Serdar is the very boy that we got in after I failed to sign Christopher Ayer. He was the guy who I wanted to get in. He was my main target. I even bloody unsettled. Where is he? There he is. I unsettled him and everything. Made him said he was going to be my top target. Eventually agreed a fee with Celtic for, I think it was about maybe £15 million. It was quite a hefty chunk of change, and this is when we didn't have an awful lot of money to work with. And he said he wanted the move to go through. I was like, happy days, we've agreed a fee. And then it got to talking about the contract, and he's like, oh no, I've just signed a new contract, I don't want to move. So it's like, why have you done that? So in lieu of Christopher Ayer, we ended up getting, where is he? There he is. Suat Serdar out of Schalke, who, to be honest, I'm not unhappy with that signing. Ideally, I would have liked to pay a little bit less, but that's just because I am a thrifty man. It seems that Mike Ashley is rubbing off on me, and that is a situation and a scenario nobody wants to be in, to have Mike Ashley rubbing up against you. But either way, physically or metaphorically. Moving very swiftly on, we move on to our final signing of Emerson out of Chelsea on loan. I've got him into play at right back because he's pretty decent. He can cover right back. He's of course a left back, but I've brought him into play at right back after the departure of DeAndre Yedlin. I feel like he's an upgrade from DeAndre Yedlin, and he of course, like I say, can cover at left back as and when required. But that will be mainly where Jamal Lewis is going to be playing for the majority of the season. We do have an option to buy him for, where is it, £16.3 million. I don't know if I'll be taking up that option, considering like I said, we probably won't be having a whole heap of cash to play with at the start of next season. I projected, 26 million, I think it was? Yeah, 26 million is the projected budget for next season. So yeah, probably won't take up that option. And as you can see here, we still have a deal pending. We've got about £8 million left in the budget with 30k wedge budget. And I'm looking to bring in Caio Jorge, if that is indeed how you pronounce it, out of Santos, 18-year-old striker, who last year was an absolute monster. So I'm hoping that form will be repeated in this year's game. £8 million to get him out of Santos. He'll play probably cup games and he'll come off the bench a little bit this season, because the strikers that we have in the squad at the minute are either aging out or their contracts are coming up at the end of the season. For example, Andy Carroll's up at the end of the season. Dwight Gale, I'll probably look to move on at some point. Callum Wilson, even that is 28, so we need someone for the future to cover him. And Joe Linton, of course, is an absolute... He's been a bit of a disaster, God love him, since he arrived. But we'll stick with Joe Linton for a bit. We'll give him a try. But, like I said, we needed to think of the future. And Caio Jorge, whose name I'm probably mispronouncing, will look to fill that role. So that's he's debating whether or not he's going to come. We've offered the contract, and hopefully he'll sign that. So that is pretty much all of our transfer business that we have done. There's still a few lads I'd like to move on. Rolando Aarons is he's being stubborn as bedamned, and he's not going anywhere. He's unregistered for. I don't think have I registered him for the Prem? I don't think I have. Oh, geez, I haven't registered Emerson either. Right, that needs to be sorted out. So I'll need to sort these things out before the Aston Villa game. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to jump straight into our first game of the Premier League season against Aston Villa. So here we go. Here is the lineup for our opening day game against Aston Villa. A couple of injuries, for example, Dubravka is still out. He'll be out for a good long while, 3 to 5 weeks. So in his place will be Carl Darlow in between the sticks, with Lewis, Fofana, Lascelles and Emerson at the back, with Hayden is going to play defensive midfield. Serdar is going to play in his central midfield role, even though I said he was going to play there. But we'll try him in his natural role, see how that goes, alongside John Joe Shelvey. Almiron on the left, St Maximin on the right, and Callum Wilson up front. And on the bench we have Gillespie, Manquillo, Jata, Joe Linton, Kieran Clark, Ryan Fraser and Sean Longstaff. Here is the team sheets. This is nice. This is a nice little touch. That's the Aston Villa lineup. Of course, we have to look out for Grealish and Watkins. Ross Barkley's made a good start to the season, and this is what our social media is having a say. Almiron doesn't deserve to start. Apparently, Darlow starts in ages. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, there we go. Opening day of the season. Let's just get stuck right into it and hope for the perfect start with a win. So before we get into the game, actually, here's the new team talk. Not mechanic, but it's been rejiggered with the new kind of gestures that you can do. So for example, hands on hips, it means you're kind of disinterested. Pump fists, we'll go with that one. I'm expecting a win today, lads. That's grand. Team talk is complete, and then of course you can do your individual team talks, but we're not going to do that. We're going to get straight into the game, if this will eventually... Oh God! Right? Do I have to do this? I'm expecting you. I have faith in you. Get out there and make a difference. There we go. Bosh. Let's get into the tunnel. New press conference sort of layout. It's pretty much the same. It's just laid out differently. So we'll get past this. I'll tell you what. Actually, we'll send Steve Agnew. There we go. Our first look at the new match engine for this year's Football Manager. But before, of course, we get into that, we're going to change some stuff. So throw into Villa. Here's McGinn to Nedelyakov. If someone would like to close him down, that would be superb. Plays it back to McGinn. And now Tyrone Mings is dawdling on the ball a bit. You're right next to him. Stick a foot. There we go. Serdar sticks a foot, and he knows what it's like. And here's Callum Wilson. He's got free. It's Wilson one-on-one. He's been denied by Martinez. What a big chance for us to take the lead. And Callum Wilson has fluffed his lines. Lewis with the throw, headed out by Trezeguet. And now Aston Villa look to break with Ollie Watkins here. He's not got a whole heap in the way of support. He's going to hold it up really well. Brings it back to Barkley. And Ross Barkley has given Aston Villa the lead. That is a very sloppy goal for us to concede. Look at the amount of players we have back. And it's Watkins against about 9 or 10. Holds the ball up, and then look at this. Barkley gets away from his man and he just fires it past Carl Darlow. That is a shocking goal for us to concede. And we are 1-0 down to Aston Villa at home on opening day. But here's Jamal Lewis looking to get us back into the game with Almiron. He's got a bit of magic. Miguel Almiron plays it to John Joe Shelvey. St. Maximan, he's got support on the overlap. He doesn't use it. Shelvey goes back over the top for Almiron. Now Lewis is there. Can he get the ball across? He can. And towards Almiron. And Miguel Almiron equalises straight away for Newcastle United. And we're back on level terms. Miguel Almiron. Jamal Lewis and himself with some lovely link-up play on that left-hand side. And look at the space that Martinez has left at his near post. So Maximum with a free kick. There's the header from the cells. And Almiron's tapped it in at the back post. Is he offside? Did he need to touch that? There's a VAR check-in. It's no goal. Goal disallowed. He's offside apparently. If this would get out of the way, let's have a look. He is offside. He did need to touch it in. It wasn't going in. I'm going to have to make a substitution here because Almiron, even though he's having a great game, he's absolutely knackered, so he's going to have to come off. Ryan Fraser is going to come on to replace him. Can we... There we go. He's going to work out better on the right-hand side. So Fraser's going to go to the left and St. Maximin's going to go to the right. Free kick from Villa. Grealish plays it to Watkins. Look at Barkley, completely unmarked, Ross Barkley. That is absolutely appalling defending from a set piece. We've switched off entire... Look at this. As Grealish plays it to Watkins. Look how much space he's in. That is terrible. Less than 10 minutes to play. We've made some changes. We've brought Joe Linton on up front to partner Callum Wilson. But we're into injury time, and I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference. We've lost on opening day. That's a big upset for, well, not an upset, but it's not the way we wanted to start our season. Looking at XG, we should have won the game. Nearly 1.9 XG to Aston Villa's 0.7. So we created the better chances, and we should have won that game. That's hugely. Look at this, we absolutely bossed it, and but we've still lost the game. That is hugely disappointing to start the season. So after the disappointment of that opening day defeat in the Premier League, we go into this Tyne-Tees derby against Middlesbrough in the Carabao Cup with a completely rotated lineup. The only difference is Darlow keeps his place in goal. We've gone with Manquillo, Dummett, Clark and Kraft at the back. Serdar keeps his place. He's moved to defensive midfielder. Hendrick and Longstaff come in with Jad on the left, Fraser on the right, and Joe Linton gets a start up front. I know it's the Carabao Cup, but a win would be good for morale, and winning breeds a winning mentality and other such nonsense cliches. But going into a game against Tottenham, I'd like to get a result in this to give us some momentum going forward, so hopefully we can do that. And there is a look at the Middlesbrough lineup, of course managed by Neil Warnock. You feel free to pause and have a look through and see if... Paddy McNair, good lad. Paddy McNair gets a start representing the Northern Irish lads. It's Middlesbrough with the first attack of the game, which is not ideal. McNair finds Bola. Back to Paddy McNair, who's got plenty of space. Look at this, Assomba Longa! What a save that is by Carl Darlow, but we've been carved open so easily. And Darlow has bailed us out massively there. Well, there's the follow-up corner and Dale Fry heads it over the bar. Well, this is a bloody terrible start. There's Nathan Wood, I do believe. Cut out by Kraft. Now, Ryan Fraser. Run! Run, boy! Gives it out to Jatta. Who's got a chance? Can he cut inside? He's going to go down underneath the challenge from Dijksteel. Is it a penalty? It is a penalty, of course. No VAR in the Carabao Cup. And Bakary Jatta. Oh, wait, no, there is VAR. You best give it, mate. You had best give it. He has given it, and it is a penalty to Newcastle United. It's going to be Joe Linton. And he scores! There's your headline. Joe Linton scores an actual football goal. And we have the lead against Middlesbrough. I'd say undeserved, considering we've been bloody terrible the opening 25 minutes of this game. But we are ahead through a Joe Linton penalty. Happy days. No Panenkas here, lads. And here is Jeff Hendrick. Clark plays it forward, looking for Fraser. He's got past his man. He's left him on his arse. Well, good work, Ryan Fraser. He's gone down again. Is it another penalty? Ryan Fraser goes down. We're going to go to VAR, are we? Yep, because the ref is incapable of making a decision on his own, it would seem. It's another penalty. Good lord. Right, Joe Linton, just do it again, son. That would be superb. Joe Linton has scored 2 goals in one game. They're both penalties, but who cares? This is mental. Joe Linton has 2 goals in a single game. God. If you're thinking about doing the lottery, go and do it, because it is the day of miracles. Can we hold on towards half-time? No, we can't. No, we can't. Or can we? Is he offside? Again, we go to VAR. He is offside. Excellent. I thought, well, I kind of was more in hope than expectation. Let's have another look at this. Jesus, that's fairly close. Decent. That's a decent performance. We're 2-0. We're 2-0 up. We probably, we've got very lucky with the 2 penalties. But I will say that I'm delighted with the performance so far. Keep it up, lads. Here's Jatta. Just run at them. They'll bring you down in the box. Fraser. What a save that is. Fraser on the follow-up. Thought he was going to tap it in, but he hasn't. It comes back to Joe Linton looking for the hat-trick, and he can't get it. Kraft looks to get it across. Joe Linton! He has got a... Oh my god. Joe Linton has a hat-trick. Look out your windows, because the apocalypse may be occurring. So, tell your loved ones that you love them, and bloody store up on canned goods, because this surely is the end of the world. And there it is, it's all over. A 3-0 victory, a hat-trick for Joel bloody Linton. God almighty, what's the XG showing? 2.4 to 0.66. Much like in the opening game, we dominated in terms of XG. But this time we actually make it count, even though that was 2 from the penalty spot. But that doesn't matter. Joel Linton scored a bloody hat-trick. Neil Warnock, of all people, is accusing me of unprofessional behaviour. Well, normally I don't respond to this bloody nonsense, but I'm bloody going to. That's rich coming from you, Neil Warnock. There we go. Have some of that. Ah, well, that's a bit of a bugger. Kyle George's application has been rejected because he hasn't played in enough recent games for his country. Ah, bugger. We could... Tell you what, we're going to appeal it. Obviously, we're going to appeal it and hope that that goes through. Otherwise, we're going to have to rethink our forward strategy here. After that victory against Middlesbrough, the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup draw is going to be made today, so we're just going to... No, I'll tell you what, there's way too many teams to do an automatic draw. We'll just draw all teams. Who did we get? We have Burnley away in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. Hey, there we go! We appeal, and it's been granted. A conditional British work permit has been granted for Kyle George. I need to learn how to pronounce his name. Is it Jorge? Kyle Jorge? Him. This lad. 18-year-old lad. He's going to sign for us. Hooray. Excellent stuff. And that is our budget completely cleared out, unless we make some dramatic changes. But we're going to accept that. In he comes. Happy bloody days. There he is. Kyle George is in for a fee of £8 million. Although, bloody hell, I'm thinking, if Joe Linton's going to be scoring hat-tricks, did we really need another forward? Yes, we did. That's a stupid thing to say. He only had a year left on his contract, so we may have got him a little cheaper, but still, I wanted to make sure that I got him. And got him we did. So it's time for the third and final game of this episode, our second Premier League game of the season against Tottenham. And here is the lineup we're going with. It's a little bit rotated due to the fact that some lads are not in the best of form. So it's Darlow keeps his place in goal, obviously, with Lewis. Kieran Clark keeps his place with Lascelles and Emerson at the back. Hayden comes into defensive midfield. Serdar and Sean Longstaff coming to the midfield with Almiron on the left, so Maximin on the right. And Joe Linton is going to start after his hat-trick. See if he can build on that and prove all of us wrong. On the bench, we have Gillespie, Hendrick, Manquillo. Kyle George is on the bench. Fofana, Ritchie and John Joe Shelvey. We need a much better performance after that opening game against Villa. Well, the performance was alright, it was just we didn't put the ball in the net often enough, which is pretty difficult when you try to win football games. There, of course, is the Tottenham Hotspur lineup. Compared to ours, oh lord, this is going to be very, very difficult. God, we're 25 minutes in and absolutely nothing of note has happened, apparently. Christ, imagine paying 15 quid for this game, you'd be bloody furious. Good lord, a highlight. And it's a throw into us. Here we go. Hayden picks up the loose ball. Serdar back to Hayden, who goes back to Clark. Let's get the ball. Come on, lads. Show a bit of invention here. Here's Almiron. Back to Lewis. They've played really nicely, really composed for the opening few games down that left-hand side. And speaking of composure, that is not a word you could use to describe this lad. But holy Christ, he's got 4 goals in 2 games. And Joe Linton has given us the lead right before half-time with a terrific finish. Well, who is this lad? Right, well, this was unexpected. Joe Linton's bloody decided that he's turned into Kylian Mbappe, which is not a bad thing. I'm happy enough with that. Happy with the performance, lads. Keep it up. Another highlight for us. It's headed up. Oh, dear. Oh, what a mistake by Harry Kane and Joe Linton. He's done it again. That's disconnected. I don't care about that. Joe, what? I lost for words. My brain has turned to mush. What has happened there? Harry Kane, of all people, has made a terrible mistake. Joe Linton nips in ahead of Lloris, and Joe Linton, I was certain he was going to ball. He made his best to balls it up, but he's scored again. Joe Linton has his 5th goal in 2 games. He's second. He's got a brace against Tottenham. What is going on? Here's a great run from Matt Doherty, and Ndombele finds Højbjerg and his shot goes wide, and that's the first real chance that Tottenham have had in the game. Made a couple of changes. Kyle George has come on for his debut. I've moved Joe Linton out to the left hand side just to facilitate him coming on. I didn't really want to make any changes, but I figured I'll bring him on now. That's a good chance. Somebody's knackered, so we'll do a quick substitute. It doesn't really matter. We're in the arse end of the game now. Here's Joe Linton. Plays it to St. Maximin. Is he going to get a goal? He is! 3-0 Newcastle. Alan St. Maximin. And Joe Linton gets the assist. 2 goals and an assist for Joe Linton. I honestly don't know what to say. This is baffling. Joe Linton has just decided he's remembered that he's a professional footballer. And he's turned up. And he's played it to St. Maximin. And he's got on the score sheet. What a bizarre game this is, but I am not in the least bit unhappy about it. We've done better than our XG. We've performed better than XG. We've scored 3 goals. Joe Linton's got 2 of them and an assist. I don't know what to do. I think I'm lads. So there we go. What a way to end our second episode. That is going to do it for this one. We've a mixed bag, to say the very least. It's a veritable roller coaster of emotions as we get our first Premier League win against Tottenham after a disappointing opening day defeat against Aston Villa, and we get a victory in the Carabao Cup. But more importantly, Joe Linton has scored actual goals. What a mental state of affairs. So we have Burnley in the Carabao Cup in the next game, but we'll play that off camera. When will we come back? We'll come back at the start of November. We'll come back and we'll play the 3 games in November. So we'll come back, we'll play all these games off camera. We'll come back for the Arsenal, Sheffield United and Leeds games all in November. But that is going to do it for this episode. If you did enjoy it, and bloody hell there was a lot to enjoy, please do hit that like button, do hit that subscribe button and hit the bell so you're notified of when we make new videos such as this Football Manager save. We also have the Master League on PES 2021. But thank you so much once again for watching. And we will see you, as always, in the next one.